What's the difference between Claude and Codex? If you look at Claude, it depends what you're comparing, right? If you're comparing like the terminal usage like this, honestly, like Claude, I find is like a lot more useful for getting stuff done and being a lot more autonomous. Codex is good. It tends to run out of credits pretty quickly, I found, even when I'm on the pay plan. So that's one thing to be aware of. And also, the Codex UI is totally different, right? It's totally different. So there's some big differences there. They do similar things, but it just depends what's your favorite API. For me personally, I like to test and use them all because I like to learn about this stuff. What's the difference between Codex and Claude and Hermes Agent? So Hermes Agent is open source, whereas Codex and Claude are not open source, right? Which means that you can customize Hermes Agent as much as you want to. And also, you're not stuck to one API with Claude and Hermes Agent, right? With Hermes Agent, you can switch between APIs. It's a lot more autonomous. It can connect to your Telegram and everything else. You can't really do that with Claude. You can connect it to your phone, but it's not very good, the phone connection, honestly. And also, you just can't customize Claude in the same way, right? And also, Claude Code is paid, right? Whereas, for example, if you're using something like Hermes Agent, you can use it for free because it's an open source free project, and then you can get free API to plug into it, like step 3.5 Flash. Is there a way to allow Hermes to log into Google? Yeah. So you can basically just give your login details to Hermes Agent, and then it can use that email address. The other thing you can do is you can go to her Google Workspace, get an API, and then give that API with the authentication allowances to use Hermes Agent. So Hermes Agent can also usually get a handover document. Yeah, so what you can do is you can get all your agents to type any keynotes as they go along into something like Obsidian, right? Obsidian is basically like a second brain. So if you need to store context and notes, you can use Obsidian with your AI agents and it'll write down the notes inside a markdown file so that you never lose context again. So if you're finding like you're losing key details as your agents go along, for example, like Claude, what you can do is tell it as it works to note everything into Obsidian, write down the notes inside Obsidian, and then you've got all the keynotes noted down as it works, right? And then also all your other agents can connect to Obsidian at the same time so that any context you have inside Claude gets automatically transferred to Hermes or Codex or whatever you want. Isn't Claude dropping third-party configuration? So if you go into Claude here and then you go to your settings like this, go to connectors, and you can see they've moved it to customize. And that's how you can connect to different MCPs, right? So for example, we've got Hermes MCP connected there, WordPress, GitHub, Claude and Chrome, etc. That's how you can connect to third-party applications. They're all pretty good at that, right? It just depends what you want to do. You can use any of them, really. It depends what you prefer. If you prefer to manage AI agents from your phone, then Hermes Agent is going to be better for coding and front end, right? If you're on your laptop all day and you prefer the UI of Codex and GPT 5.5's API, then you can switch to that. So it really depends what you want to do. For me personally, I think the best for front end is Claude, but Hermes can do a pretty good job too.